right, let's grade this Vikings 2022 draft class. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. The draft is a wrap, which means only one thing. We need to give them a very premature grade that makes no sense and put a big old letter grade on this thing.
Absolutely. It's one of the saddest days of the year when the draft ends, and now you got. I mean, it's also fun. You look back at all the picks they made, who could have been had, who were signed as undrafted free agents. So it's still an exciting time, but also a time of intense sadness.
It is over, but we also got the excitement of the players we got. Before we get into this draft class, which consists of 10 wonderful players, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the videos, here every damn day talking Vikings. Hit that sub button. Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, so we're going to grade this thing. We're going to kind of walk through the whole thing and then, give it our final thoughts and a final grade.
Yeah, like I said, very premature. Really doesn't. I mean, they've never even played a snap. I did a poll last night. It appears the majority of the viewers have this right around the B area, right around the B. We'll see what we think, but let's start off with the number one pick, safety, Cine.
Yeah, the more I think about this, I think going into this thing, Kwesi had his heart set on Cine. He knew he could move back to the end of the first round, and I think that's why he kind of took some less than market value compensation there. So he got his guy. I love Cine. I love what he brings to the table. He's pretty much a dual safety. Good ball skills, can come up and hit, plays a lot of fire and passion. And so I'm fine. I do love me some Cine. Obviously, it comes back to a couple things here. Traded within the division, given your Detroit Lions, Jameson Williams, and then, who you pass on at that point. But again, this is Kwesi's guy, and this is who he wanted.
This is a guy, the value is there at the pick, but like you said, it's going to come back to the trade itself. But I love the player. I love the position. We talked a lot of safeties as far as right at the top of round 2. So it makes sense. Looking at the overall depth chart right now, I mean, this is the guys in the red are slated to probably be the starters. Cam Bynum. What I love about that is Kwesi definitely talked about still getting him into the mix. And then obviously between Metellus and Dorn will be the odd man out. But damn, I mean, look at the future of safety, Cine and Bynum.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's pretty damn exciting. So, yeah, you look at Dorn and Metellus, those guys are probably going to be, not make the team, but we'll see.
Lewis, hard hitting, and his personality. Watch some of his interviews. He's going to be a tough guy not to like.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, speaking of getting a guy, probably shouldn't have been on the board. Round 2, Andrew Booth. Beautiful pick.
Yeah, Andrew Booth Jr. I mean, he fills our need at corner. He's got good size. He's got those long arms that you love to see. He plays a lot of fire. He's really a top end competitor. I love that about him, and I love the way he attacks ball carriers. He comes flying out of the secondary. He comes up and lays a big old hit. Very aggressive. Andrew Booth would have been a guy I've been fine with. We would have moved down a few spots in round 1. The fact that we get him in round 2 is one of the best picks of this draft.
Yeah, his only concern is just his injuries. Hopefully that is tip top, because if that is the case, he could end up being one of the big steals of the draft. Looking at cornerbacks, I mean, right now Booth, I got down one below Sullivan in the slot, but I think Booth is a guy that could definitely push Dantzler week 1 for a starting spot. If not, he's still going to see the field a damn lot.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that I mentioned too is how, in the Rick Spielman years, it was always trade downs. You see Kwesi moving back up to get the guy, making sure he gets the guy he wants after he makes that deal with Green Bay.
Yes, Andrew Booth. I mean, I love Cine, but that might be my favorite pick of the draft, especially the fact we got him in round 2. Next up, round 2, Ed Ingram, the big guard.
Look how happy he is.
Look how happy he is. And, he might be happy, but it doesn't appear everybody is overly happy with this pick. The position, the player, we know his background. So that's going to add a lot of question marks as well. But right now, you can see right here the depth chart. We got Jesse Davis. We got Chris Reed. We have Wyatt Davis from last year. Ezra Cleveland's probably going to be the left guard. So Ed Ingram, the fact that they took him that early in round 2, something tells me that maybe he's pushing for that spot day 1.
That's the one thing that was kind of surprised. We both thought that the guard position was actually, well addressed in free agency with Chris Reed, Jesse Davis. You got some depth there. You got the unknown Wyatt Davis. We really kind of thought they were going to take more of a center. They go ahead and take Ed Ingram at 52 overall, which was probably a little bit early. Again, there's a logjam here at the guard position, so it'll be interesting to see how this thing shakes out. But yeah, the fact that they took him where they did, it does show that they're probably going to let him compete to start. And what I like about him is, and I said in the video, just he's a different type. He's a big, physical mauler type, a guy that we haven't had much of here at the guard position in many years.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see what they do at the center position. Wyatt Davis, maybe Chris Reed. We will see, but we can't complain about our offensive line not having depth, and then when they add them, complain that we took them. So it's fine. I'm fine with this pick. We'll see what happens, but they love them. They love them.
They do.
All right, round 3, another very good player, linebacker Brian Asamoah. Look at all those linebackers and edge rushers. That's a logjam.
It is, and it makes you wonder how some of these guys are going to fit in. Like, where does Kenny Willekes go? Where does Patrick Jones ultimately end up? And you got Brian Asamoah, a little undersized, speedy, reads and reacts. I do think he's going to ascend this depth chart pretty damn quickly. I think he's probably going to be the primary backup between Jordan Hicks and Eric Kendricks. Yeah,
he's going to be the nickel linebacker. He's fast. He can hit. I love this pick. I love everything about it. Even special teams too. I think he's going to be a big part of that. So Brian Asamoah,
isn't he pretty damn good in coverage as well?
I actually saw some people saying he's very good at it, and some people saying he's not very good at it. So I guess we have to find that out ourselves.
We will. We'll have to do it. But yeah,
but look at this. Again, I mean, they're going to have to make some very tough decisions here. I wouldn't be surprised if draft picks in the top 5 rounds get the boot next year. I didn't even put Janarius Robinson on here.
Yeah, and, it is. You got your edge rushers and you got your linebackers mixed in here. And again, how these guys fit in this new defense is something the coaching staff's going to have to figure out. But there's a couple players who I don't know if their skill set is really a fit.
All right, let's go to round 4 where they do the double dip at cornerback. Akayleb Evans, cornerback from Missouri. Again, the depth chart for corner. Evans, a guy that they traded up for him, right?
Yeah,
they traded up.
Round pick.
Had to have him. They traded up for Booth. They traded up for him. So definitely a guy they didn't just settle for. They wanted him.
This was the guy Kwesi said he was in a dark room and he fell in love with this guy watching his tape. It was one of these guys where he's just looking at him and he said, am I seeing something that no one else in the league is seeing here? Because he was just super impressed with how he plays the game. Smart player. I think he's a little versatile. So not everybody had a high grade on Akayleb Evans. I mean, his kind of scouting report was he's just fine. He doesn't really do anything exceptionally well. Kwesi sees something in him. I'm going to trust that. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, his big knock seems like he doesn't have very good ball skills. His frame's a little thin, but just kind of does everything good. I think this is a guy that they're hoping to kind of mold into a potential very good depth piece.
Yeah, and now you look at that depth chart again. Chris Boyd should be kind of nervous. Harrison Hands should be a little nervous.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll see how many we end up keeping. But I mean, you left a couple of the free agents out. Nate Hairston that we signed. Then we signed another one. I mean, those guys. There's gonna be some competition here. Really at a lot of positions, which is great. Which is what you want to have.
Yeah, but overall, that pick actually got pretty favorable grades. I was kind of surprised about that. I was thinking they're not going to be very nice, but he got good grades.
Well, and you look what you gave up to go get him. So we'll see. Now we got another draft season doing mocks next year with no 4th round pick.
Oh well. All right, round 5. They get the gopher Esezi Otomewo. Defensive end. It's interesting because you're seeing some people saying that he's going to be the D end and some saying he could actually go be edge. And he's a big man, 6'5", 285. So this could be a kind of a tweener type guy too. But looking at this defensive line depth, he's coming into a very favorable situation for himself.
He is. This guy put himself on the map with his pro day workout. I think his athleticism really surprised a lot of people and how quickly and how fluidly he moved. The big knock on this guy was just he didn't really produce with the way his traits would show and you would think he would. So a guy who didn't do more than what he was supposed to inside the defense. So this guy to me, there's a lot of potential here with this pick, and this was actually one of my favorite picks. This is my favorite pick of day 3 of the draft for the Vikings.
Oh yeah, I was a little surprised because he was always kind of in round 6, round 7, but I was over that very quickly. Love the fact that we got to go for. Love the fact that he's got so much untapped potential. Like you keep saying, his stats don't match up for what he's probably going to bring to this team, and I can't wait. Round 5, again, pick a little bit of a surprise. They go running back with Ty Chandler, North Carolina, 1,000-yard rusher from North Carolina. Should give him some respect.
And speaking of 1,000, I think there was about 1,000 running backs drafted in this draft. It seemed like, day 3, every other pick was a running back, and the Vikings, I did not think they were going to take a running back. I barely did any work on any running backs this year, just assuming that there's no way in hell they're going to take one. But this guy, this is a damn good player here. He's got some return skills. He can catch the football. You look at next year, Alexander Madison's probably going to be leaving to become a starter somewhere or try to be a starter in free agency. So now you have your depth chart, Delvin Cook, Ty Chandler, Kenny Nwangu. So that's pretty damn good right there. And unless you move Madison before the preseason, this team is going to probably carry 4 backs.
Yeah, it's
5 if you count Ham.
Yeah, I love Ty Chandler now. After doing some more digging on him, he's going to be good out of the backfield, catching the ball. He's fast as hell, possibly even doing some special teams. So I love it. But it's kind of like I don't know what they're going to do here. I mean, I'm worried that CJ Ham is actually like gonzo. I don't know how they could keep that many running backs and CJ Ham.
Yeah, and I don't know how he fits in this new offense, if they use the fullback or not. So, yeah, like you said, there's going to be a tough cut here, and you can't go in there with 5 backs. No way.
No, but they're definitely preparing for the future, and Ty Chandler could be a sneaky guy that ends up being the lead back in a couple of years.
Yeah, wouldn't shock me.
Sneaky. What else is sneaky is our new wonderful offensive tackle, adding some depth. Vederian, Lowe, Illinois. Everything you read about this guy, everybody loves him. They just love the guy. He's just a very lovable guy, and he just so happens to be pretty good at playing tackle as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's the guy. I think he's got 2 kids of his own. He adopted his brother, so a high character guy, a very mature guy. For being his age where he's at right now in life. He's been through a lot. He's grown up fast, and now you look at this guy. You do need some tackle depth. I mean, look at that depth chart at tackle. Not great. I don't even know who the hell Timon Paris is. So Vederian's
Disney movie.
Vederian Lowe. He's going to make this team. I don't see how he doesn't. A 6th-round pick. You need the depth. You need the depth there. And I think this guy, you probably don't want to see a whole hell of a lot of them in year 1, but at least you have somebody you can throw out there now.
No, I love it. We talked tackle quite a bit. I actually thought they were going to go tackle earlier, but getting a guy like him, I love it. Depth. And who knows? Maybe they end up moving Oliudo back to tackle, doing something else, because this depth is fairly gross.
It's still very thin.
You just be seeing a lot of action in the preseason.
Yeah, and then let's not kid ourselves. I mean, at this point in the draft, you can talk about value and whatever, but every team's got these guys ranked differently. There's so many prospects, and you start just taking the guys that you want at this point. So it's hard to say, they should have gone with this guy. No, I mean, it's the 6th round.
It's 6th round. Speaking of 6th round, we had one more of those bad boys, and it is Jalen Nailor, otherwise known as Speedy.
Speedy Nailor, yet he ran a 4.40, so that's again.
Yeah, it's weird.
It was a little bit weird. Put that wide receiver depth back up there again. You look at this, where does he fit in? I'm not sure at this point. I mean, Thielen's going to be around for at least another year. Justin Jefferson, you got the contract situation coming up in the future. You got to deal with that. So there's definitely some talent here. Then BC Johnson, again, a guy we're kind of sleeping on. So Jalen Nailor, Speedy Nailor. Again, this guy's been very, very injury prone. Supposedly he's ran a 4.340 in the past. He ran 4.5 at the combine. So good hands, good route runner, but he just can't stay healthy. So that's definitely a concern here.
Yeah, I think this pick is based strictly on what could be. Like they're just going all in. It's a 6th round. He's a receiver that has all the potential. If he stays healthy, he's going to be good. It's a big if. But looking at the wide receiver depth, they might only keep 5 wide receivers. So depending on what they do at running back, we will see. So Nailor, in my eyes, has practice squad written all over him. See if he can stay healthy for a year, get better, and see what happens. Because I mean, even guys like Blake Prohl, I think, has a chance to really push to make this team.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Jalen Nailor has practice squad written all over his face.
All right. Speaking of face, look at this new face tight end, Nick Muse. Nick Muse just really put himself on the map with the East-West Shrine game. Good hands, good blocker. But honestly, I don't know a ton about Nick Muse. I'm not going to pretend I do. I figured they were going to go tight end earlier, but they didn't, and they got Nick. Hello, Nick.
They didn't. They waited, and there was a run on tight ends. The Ravens were grabbing every damn tight end they could. They took back-to-back there, I think, in round 4. So it was thinning out very, very quickly. Nick Muse, good athletic ability. I think he's also a guy who didn't quite produce as much, and that might just be because the offense he was in. But to me, this is a battle for tight end 3 now. Johnny Munt's safe. He's making this team. He is Kevin O'Connell's boy.
Johnny Munt will be in the Ring of Honor.
Obviously, Irv Smith Jr. is making this team. So now it comes down to, does Ben Elfson have a role as a blocking tight end here? I don't know. So I think those 3 are going to be battling out to be tight end 3. And, I think Nick Muse has just as much a chance as any of them to make this thing.
Yeah, Zach Davidson, this does not bode well for Zach Davidson in my mind. If you're going to wait and take a guy in round 7, I mean, why not just wait for an undrafted free agent? So Ellison, that's going to be a big piece to puzzle this. If we don't keep CJ Ham, I could see them probably keeping Ben Ellison. So that's tight ends going to be interesting. But Nick Muse, like Nailor, probably practice squad guy. Who knows?
I think he's really got a chance to make that. If they do keep, everybody's going to keep 3 tight ends. So I do think he's in the mix.
I would like to say that, but I was so excited about Zach Davidson last year. I obviously know nothing about tight ends. Nothing.
Yeah, Zach Davidson, I mean, his performance in the preseason, he couldn't catch a ball. He didn't seem like he understood the offense. I lost all hope for Zach Davidson.
My hope's not over for Zach Davidson, but that is the draft class. A lot of wheeling and dealing we're going to be talking about in upcoming episode. Also, we're going to be hitting on all the undrafted free agents, giving our take on those guys. But there it is. Let's put this thing in a nice, beautiful package and give it a very early grade. I'm letting you go first. What's your grade?
I'm giving this a B-. I mean, I like who we got overall. You can argue value on day 2 and day 3, but overall, Kwesi did a good job. He was a wheeler and dealer, moved up and down the board, got the guys he wanted. So I'm happy. I'm not ecstatic, but I'm happy. I think this was a solid class.
And definitely put your grades down in the comments with hashtag 7,000. I'm actually going to give it a B+, just strictly on the secondary. I'm very excited for the secondary with getting Booth and Cine into it. Secondary was giving me some serious heartburn, and that heartburn is completely gone. I love the linebacker. I love the depth that we added at the positions we added in the later rounds. It's nothing but a big old question mark now, and B+. I'm going B+. Top heavy.
Fair enough.
Top heavy. Let us know your grades below. We're going to be hot and heavy all day, so be sure to come back, subscribe, and that's it.
And remember this, scientists claim children inherit their intelligence from their mothers.